Hey, John, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. What's going on?
Not much. Long time no see.
I know. Get my morning tea here.
Where are you at? Are you still in Richmond?
I'm in Portland, Oregon at the minute.
Oh, okay. Are you on
Yeah.
tour or are you just kind of hanging?
We did a show on the weekend in Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Metal Fest, and I'm just taking the time out here visiting my daughter, and I'm going to visit my son back in Richmond, and then I'm going down to Florida, and then I'll be going back to England. So getting
Nice.
around.
I think the last time I saw you, you were making spaghetti in my kitchen.
I remember that. That was so much fun.
That's good. You're doing well. Well, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, keeping busy. They're certainly keeping me busy doing interviews, so that's good.
That's good. So, before I even get into all the other questions, did you ever imagine this many years you guys would still be relevant and putting out, great music and playing everywhere?
Uh, well, you never look that far ahead, you know. And of course, the older you get, the more you appreciate that it can all go ching and be gone in seconds. So, you plan, you know, you plan ahead, hope for the best, plan for the worst, and enjoy the ride. We're very, very, very lucky people.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. We're humbled by that. I mean, somebody sent me a list of the bands with the greatest longevity, and we were like in the top five.
Yeah.
This is like people like the Rolling Stones and Aerosmith. We're like, what? Come on, it's crazy, crazy. So, right, it's all good.
I was trying to, when I was prepping for this and getting ready, I was thinking back to a time I used to live in New York out on Long Island, and you guys played a little movie theater called the Rio Theater. This had to be like 83 ish, 84 maybe.
Really,
Yeah.
I remember. I mean, the first tour, real tour, was the Kill 'Em All for One with Metallica opening. We played Lemurs, both Lemurs.
Yeah. I used
You
to go
know,
there all the time.
in the days where you could play a gig like 10 mile away from each other,
Right.
and we played a place called Cheers out in maybe like Babylon.
Hmm.
It's like somebody's like nuclear basement or something. It was god awful. I don't remember I remember hearing of the Rio. I thought the
there was a
Rio was
there was a record
like
store
in
across the
Hempstead or
street.
something, wasn't it?
Slip Disc Records was across the street. It was in Valley Stream.
Oh, Valley Stream, yeah. No, I don't remember playing that, but I do
Anyway, yeah,
remember Slip Disc, absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
And I remember, I think Motorhead played the Rio at some point. That
yeah.
was like a famous show,
I
like
saw
when they were opening for
Metallica.
Ozzy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw old Alcatraz there with Ingve.
right, and Graham Bonnet, yeah.
Yeah, that was what, 40 years ago, probably more.
Yeah, 1900 and frozen to death. Yeah.
Anyway, so all hell's breaking loose, number 15. What was the writing process like for this? And did you specifically try and not rewrite, the last 14 records?
Well, we always try to never rewrite the last 14 records. I mean, it's, it's me and my brother, so it's going to sound like Raven.
Right.
However, within those parameters, we push, we kick, we scream, we, try to change things up. And obviously, the introduction of Mike Hill into the band like 6 years ago has been a huge catalyst, for want of a better word. And this album, Mike was in at the ground floor, where with Metal City, the songs were written
Right.
before he joined. So he was in at the ground floor. He was able to give his 10 cents to put in ideas, riff ideas, song ideas, which is great, And, we knew we had a connection, and it's just tighter, and we're just locked in more. So the stuff we learned from doing the last two, particularly on the songwriting side, it's just like putting the work in. We never have a shortage of ideas. I mean, give me a guitar now, I'll write you a song in 5 minutes. Is it great? Maybe not. And that's when the work part comes in. It's like, well, this part here could be better.
Right.
This part needs something. It needs to go somewhere. You can't have some ecstatic and maybe a radical key change or a beat change. You need a melody. you need this, you need that, you need the crazy element, and all these things come into play. So we'll, write a bunch of songs, and then we'll go, well, what sounds cool? What's good? This is good, but it needs work. Okay, let's work on it. What do you think? And then we get it to a certain position, and then we kick it over to Mike, and he'd do some scratch drums, do a scratch guitar track, and go, how's the arrangement? Still need to work on it. Still need to do this. Kick it back. Then we'd have like a good scratch guitar, with the arrangement. Okay, do the drums.
Right.
Drums. And then we went over to Los Angeles, and then we did everything else. And all three of us, Mike engineered everything, did a phenomenal job.
Oh, wow.
And we just, it was just the three of us. And for the mixing process, we used this guy in Germany, Lassie Lammert, who's like off the charts, incredible, brilliant. And, he gave us a lot of direction, sonically and technically with a lot of things. And, it turned out like one of Mark's guitars had like 1/8 of an inch. It was too high on the pickup, and it was affecting the strings. And
really?
Like, well, I guess we're going to have to scratch those tracks and start over. And weird things like that. But at the end of the day, you make it so it's just got that energy, and it's got that, for what we call this joy, really, that just jumps out of the track. And it's 10 songs, 35, 40 minutes, all killer, no filler, boom, boom, boom. And that was the mandate, that was the direction. And we recorded more songs than we needed, and just went, okay, these are all cool, but which 10 together best?
Was that a hard decision?
It wasn't that hard. There was, a couple of songs you go, well, I wouldn't call it a B song, but it's a great extra track. It's a little quirky, maybe. And he says, and these two are a little bit more out there. Maybe there's an EP in the the outing a little later on. It doesn't quite gel. I mean, you don't want to have like 9 killer songs and then have like an epic 10 minutes that's kind of like dark. It's like, well, that's kind of ending on a downer in a sense. It's like, let's put that on the shelf for now, type of thing. And we did a couple of cover tunes which are going to be coming out on compilations that I can't talk about, but I can tell you that one is a Christmas song.
Really?
And it's not a traditional, ching, 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 ching,
Was that a first for you guys?
Yeah, it is. It is a rock song. It's a cool song that we picked, and it's us. It's fun. It's good.
Good. It's good that you're still having fun doing this after all these years.
The other one's a cover tune of someone else, which will be coming out on a compilation, later on the year.
Nice. So
and we had a lot of fun with that one too. That's got a very silly arrangement, and we put everything but the kitchen sink into it. So
nice. It's good that you're still having fun and smiling about doing this, and you're not all stressed out. And
no. It's this is what we love to do. It's we love creating. We love the process, getting it. So like say something I came up with in the kitchen, scratching on a guitar ends up being a song that we can go out and play for people, and they like it. That's awesome. But the live thing is really where we're at. We're a live band, and that's our thing. That's where we kill.
So I've only heard the single "Go for the Gold," but what's been the reaction to that so far?
Really good, really good from the fans, and surprisingly from the the press, from the critics. We're preaching to the converted. I'm talking to people like yourself, and they're just like, "This is this," and then I'm like, "Yeah, it is." It's good to hear. But we took the time, we put the work in, and we raised the bar. Extermination was a good record.
Right.
We raised the bar. We did a better record than Metal City. This is a better record than Metal City. And they're all good, but this is a better record, and we're very proud of it.
That's great.
And then, there's too many bands out there going, oh, well, I can get like 83 minutes on a CD. Let's fill every second of it with whatever. It's like, no, there's a reason why those early albums when you were a kid, like the first Van Halen album, and the first Montrose album, why they were so powerful, why they hit hard. Because, we're not Pink Floyd. If we were going to do a concept album, you've got all that real estate to work with, and that's great. But let's do 42 songs. It's like, nah. That doesn't make sense.
All right, so I know you said you guys shined in the live setting. You've played some pretty high-profile live shows over the last year or two, right? First, starting with the Zazula, Johnny thing in Florida, right? What was that like?
Well, that was really cool because we were recording, and the idea came up to hit up the Metallica boys and say, "Hey, do you want to do like a videoed roundtable discussion about the Kill 'Em All for One tour?"
Right.
It's an anniversary. This project we're working with, we'll do something. And James was like, yes, I definitely want to do this. So we went up and spent the day at Metallica HQ, which was a lot of fun. It was great. And he was so gracious, so open, so cool. And we sat and talked and we did that. And then I just said, if you got any opening slots coming up, we're available, like off sarcastically. And he said, well, we've got something coming up in Florida that we haven't announced yet. Where are you guys? I says, well, we'll be on tour, but we're in Florida. So, let me let you know. And like a week and a half later, you want to do the show. And it's a tribute to John and Marshall. That's wonderful. Absolutely.
Right.
So that was, we were treated like gold. We got to hang out with them a lot during that day, which was fantastic. And we went down a storm. It was great. Really, really cool.
Yeah, I've seen clips from it online, but I was not able to make it down there. That was a pretty cool show.
Yeah, it really was. It was good. And, there's, again, a lot of people there like, who are these guys? These guys are great. Like friends of mine who are in the audience here, and these people, you're like, who are these guys? This is wonderful. It's like, overnight, right?
Right. And then
we got inducted into the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame in January.
Yeah, congratulations.
So we came over for that, and that was a surprise, and that was obviously very nice to get the compliment, to get the pat on the back, as it were, which is awesome. And Twisted were there, and Twisted are great, and it was really cool to hang out with those guys too.
Yeah, congratulations first of all, and then second, what was it like playing the Milwaukee Metal Fest? Because I wasn't able to get to that, but holy cow, I saw some outtakes from it. It looks like it was a blast.
It really was, because we came into it a little late. Just this one day, I got an email from Jamie Juster. How the hell do I get you guys on the show? It's like, well, okay, let's talk to my people. Let's go. And we've played that venue years and years and years ago, like maybe 89 and maybe 84. And I just remember one room. I don't know which room it was, but, it's like a multi-venue place. It's this gigantic, it's like a city block.
Oh, really?
It was this gigantic oval ballroom that's just like out of this world. And we were in like a room that's like maybe half the size of that. It was a great venue. So cool. Great crew, taken care of, great audience. And this happened to us earlier in the year. We played, or it was last year, we played this festival in Atlanta that was all death metal. We're like the odd men out here.
Right.
And we went down so well. And this was similar because the day we played, it was all death metal bands. And then we played.
So I think
so there's obviously a level of respect there.
Yeah.
And people understanding where their music kind of came from at some point, or
right,
small factor in that. But also the contrast. You go wow, and then we come out with boom, boom, the first song, and it's instant, and it really cuts through.
Yeah.
Besides, we're complete hams, and we went out and entertained them, so why not?
But I think most people understand, like you said, I mean, you guys were forerunners with Metallica and with, everybody on Combat Records and, that whole thing back in the 80s. You guys were there. I mean, I remember turning on like UHF TV and you were playing in, your hockey gear, leading the charge.
Yeah, the On and On video, yeah, which is, I look back on it, and we were very smart to play for comedy on that, because a lot of people try to be sensible and they came off looking like complete idiots. We just said we're idiots from the get-go, so we were
Right.
good.
But to my point, I think people, get that and they know where, what they're listening to now. There would be no death metal if there wasn't you guys or that group of guys that started back in, the mid 80s, Twisted Sister.
Yeah, like
and
it's
them.
really the bands, obviously a lot of them in the UK from like the late 70s that were just didn't like punk, but they had energy and they had passion. And, the new wave of British heavy metal to me is more of an era than a sound,
I think
because
so.
initially all those bands sounded very, very different.
Yes.
Def Leppard didn't sound like Raven. Raven really didn't sound like Iron Maiden.
Or
Didn't sound
Saxon
like
or any of that, right?
And they all had their own take on it, which is awesome, and that's the way it should be. So it's it really was a changing the guard, a different, slightly different attitude. People weren't going, "I'm a rock star. Where's my
Right.
74 limos to get to the gig and all that." It was a more of a ground roots, do it yourself type of.
Yeah, very much like
Do it for the right reasons, and it'll happen again. I mean, like, well, will it? I don't know. It happened with grunge. That was very much an insular thing with
right.
a bunch of bands who had their own thing, and they were doing it for the right reasons.
Yes.
And it was very fertile ground, creative. So it's kind of similar to that in a sense.
I think a lot of that is going to come about now that everything is sort of post-pandemic, right? We're all starting back out again, almost on a square footing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of. I was talking to Mike Gitter, who's an A&R guy at what is it, Century Media, on the plane actually to the thing, and we were talking about this, and he says there is a groundswell of young bands who are just like, fuck it, we want to make music, and they're doing it for the right reasons, because it's obvious there's no money per se in this, unless you're going to wiggle your ass and try and get clickbait and all this other nonsense, and do ridiculous pop music. And in a sense, it's always been like that. It's always got to be about the music.
Yes.
And if you work hard, you'll make your own luck, and maybe you'll make some inroads, and you'll have a hell of a journey.
Right.
And like we have, and it still continues. We're still pushing. We're still having fun. It's all good.
That's great. Yeah, I think it definitely has leveled off a lot of bit. So what do you guys have next then? I know you said you're heading back to Florida. You guys got some gigs coming up here this summer?
Yeah, we got, what do we got? July, we have a festival in Italy with Saxon, which is awesome. And then we have like a week of dates in between. And then we're playing a festival in Belgium. So that's like, 10-day away for that.
Right.
And then we have a similar thing happening in September. We have a festival in the Pyrenees at the very south of France. 9 or 10 gigs. The tail end of it is one in the south of Germany.
Oh, nice.
Not too far from Stuttgart. So do that. The situation in Europe's really weird right now. There's a lot of trust lost with tours and festivals cancelling.
Yeah.
So the shorter runs are working.
And it's more expensive too.
Yeah, so we're doing that. And of course, the bigger festivals, it's been such a nightmare trying to get on them, because the rollover effect from the pandemic still is in effect. It's like, well, these guys were booked to play in 2019, so, eventually that'll roll out, which works out fine for us. We get our album out and we get to do it next. And also the States. We're looking for the States for October.
Nice.
We're putting stuff together for that, and that'll be another 40, 50-day grind. We'll kick ass and go through and do that.
Good for you. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, man. That's really all I had. It was great seeing you.
Awesome, man.
I love the band, longtime fan. Thank you for your contributions to the metal world, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We'll see you when we're out.
Yeah, I'll see you in the States here
Hopefully
somewhere
we'll
along
be
the way.
hitting Richmond. It's been a while, so
Yeah, I'm still here. Come
Good
on over.
man.
Come on over and cook with me.
We'll cook.
Be
Have
well,
a good
John.
one. Take care.
Yeah, take care. Bye.